it to keep to time with mathematical precision and German engineering, as well as clinical certitude. So good morning, guten Morgen, uemore, buongiorno, come stai, ndemne, salam, fiaman Allah, assalamu alaikum, wherever you are, como stas. We can go on and on and on. Mulibwanji, mwakabwanji, muzuire, mutuanifia in Botswana, you say Dumelani, Lekai, Gunjani, and all those. It's a global space. This is a global village. Welcome to this recap. And what we are reviewing is what we did on Wednesday, which was yesterday. Exciting presentations, Nexus and beyond, risk reduction across the stakeholder landscape with urban and rural perspectives. That's what we are looking. Welcome to Week on Water. Please remember this session will be recorded and your participation must be free. And please, if you accept participation, it means that you also give permission to the recording. If you don't want to be recorded, feel free to leave and the recordings will be available for your perusal. It will be made available after the session so you can still link up. Please turn off your camera and mute yourself while not speaking. We don't want to hear anything. Would like us to be happy to go on. Cities and their watersheds towards integrated urban water resilience. There was others robust conversations by our panel discussants, of course, Barbara there, Gerhard, Dr. Doreen Castillo, Roger van der Berg, and they dealt with a number of issues, urbanization and climate change, put high pressure on sustaining water and sanitation services for growing cities. There is need to put water infrastructure and water resources management higher on the agenda of urban development, from the source to the tap. And also we say there's also an opportunity to address the large investment gaps with available climate financing instruments that are here. This is a chance, it's an opportunity to do that. So there's also a need for more cooperation within the very system that we are discussing. Please, let's move on in urban water management. We are also saying that, again, on the same issue, there's been, in order to understand this issue better, there was a case study from Peru. Again, it's a case study on cities and their watersheds and some of the challenges towards water security in the Peruvian cities. We did notice issues of growing urbanization, which is typical of many countries, especially in low-income countries. Issue of increasing water consumption to increased demand as well. There were issues of generating pollution, of water bodies and all that. The objective of this particular program is to enhance, urban water supply security of selected cities in a climate change context. With this challenge, what can we do best? So there are issues of boosting climate resilience as conditions in cities, as the outputs of this particular case study, and building capacities, to protect water resources from being polluted, and ensuring staff qualification meet water sector demands. You can't put everyone in the water sector, even when they are not qualified. I think that is not acceptable. And then, of course, mainstreaming some of the SDG 6, goals, among others, to ensure that there is this sustainable kind of approach for the future. Please, let's move on. Okay, what are the major takeaways from integrating this issue of integrating water resource management, and ecosystem-based adaptation for climate resilient water management? Takeaways: integrating, IWRM and EBA supports climate resilience in watersheds through the following. So we talked about systematic climate proofing of integrated water resource management approaches, the proactive development and conservation of healthy ecosystems as part of an overall adaptation strategy for climate resilience. And then we're talking about as green standalone approaches or through combining green and gray solutions. That is critical, not so much mutually exclusive. Then, next slide, please. We're saying background and context of that particular study would include, global project mainstreaming of ecosystem-based adaptation, knowledge broker for EBA. the task, they're looking at knowledge development and management, global networking, and policy advice. Further information can be gotten from the provided platforms there. Simply look at Panorama Platform and adaptationcommunity.net. There's also a new study that is being earmarked, which is integrating IWRM and EBA for climate resilience water management. The launch is expected in November 2020. We look forward to that particular exciting contribution. The conceptual analysis is looking at the strength of merging IWRM and EBA. There are 9 case studies. That is going to be robust evidence. You know, that will be looking at practical examples on coupled approaches. Of course, there are issues of key lessons that we may be looking out for. What are some of those key lessons? So I encourage you, please, to read on enabling and hindering factors, how to proceed, and the guiding principles. Please read through the slides and check what is there. Next slide, please. Okay, next slide. Yeah, so again, this is a lot, it appears to be a lot of information, but this is very good because it does speak to what we can learn. And we are saying that examples of global declines in nature, emphasizing declines in biodiversity that have been and are being caused by direct and indirect drivers of change. So this is from aquatic species to zoonotic diseases, the significance of freshwater biodiversity. You need to look at this water-animal kind of relationship to better understand what we are talking about as a subject of interest. Please, next slide. Again, the significance of freshwater biodiversity. What is the way forward? Quo vadis, as they say, quo vado, quo vadis, delivering solutions that meet both water development and biodiversity conservation goals under a broader sustainable development agenda. Mainstreaming biodiversity in water management by strengthening and expanding the potential for ecological approaches in integrated water resource management. So the Convention on Biological Diversity and the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework does give that particular summary of the current version of the zero draft of this post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework already earmarks the relationship between biodiversity and clean water provision. So one target comprises the enhancement of nature-based solutions and ecosystem approaches and their impact on quality and quantity of water. So please look out and look out for the detail in that particular documentation. Next slide, please. How water stewardship enables sustainable growth? Because there's a very clear relationship between the two. So you're looking at evidences and case studies. Water stewardship enables economic growth. The case is very clear. You can look at how water stewardship contributes to economic rate of return or economic growth in a given country or context. Water stewardship should not be seen as project, but as progress, including governance and private actors. While for financiers and supermarkets, it is risky not to act. For local producers of agricultural goods, the biggest risk of all is actually taking action. This kind of leadership takes a lot of courage. Enables learning, but also increases accountability. That is critical to understand. Next, please. Very important, water stewardship. I worked on one project in Lusaka. And then what are the key messages in this particular area? You know, the key messages when you're talking about water energy strategic planning, because there's a very good relationship between the two. What are the opportunities for climate action? Number one, you need to know that this nexus allows to achieve multiple objectives through a single intervention. It's like killing two birds with one stone. Considering water supply needs when planning electricity provision can open different pathways for both and lower the cost of electricity for households. Remember, cross-sectoral or nexus investment plans need to be supported and guided by cross-sectional policies and strategies. The ministries of environment can play an important role as they have cross-sectoral mandate. So you can't just work alone. I think we need to work with the others. So even within an environment like Zambia, That is critical to have that signage. And then remember, many of the climate impacts will be felt through water, which has implications for energy security. Climate action is more effective if both mitigation and adaptation are tackled. That is very important to notice, please. Let's move on. Moving quickly now because I know I have 5 minutes. Let's move. And then we are saying water, peace, and security, an integrated approach. I loved even the conversation yesterday when we were talking about some of these provisions and how they are related. Integration of water, energy, and food and conflict. Peace building knowledge. Identifying conflicts and potential links with water. Bridging water knowledge into conflict analysis. That is critical. Remember, identifying potential conflict impacts of changes in water management or conflict sensitivity. For us, we have actually animal-human conflict around water issues. Integration of data and science with policy and practice. You need to do the participatory analysis, then focus on possible actions to reduce risk. And also talking about interactive and easy to understand dashboards to convey analysis results and other insights that is easy and visible, especially for busy people. And please remember capacity development. Yeah. We're moving on. A water, energy, food perspective at actor group level is needed to make a balanced conflict sensitive trade-off. And remember, adjusted plans or complementing measures supporting alternative livelihood options, reinstating rule of law will be required to prevent increased conflicts. Unfair access to natural resources is one of the factors causing conflict. Therefore, there is need for that fair balance. And then participatory analysis of human responses increases understanding of how and why this happens. Perceptions, grievances with little options. Please, we can move on. There are issues of flooding that we also have to deal with. Fantastic, thank you very much. We're going to have Katarina de Abukwekwe to give us a presentation. Okay, we're going to have a short presentation.
National and global leaders have joined a global call to action aimed at prioritizing water sanitation and hygiene in the context of COVID-19. So until there is a vaccine, until there is a treatment for COVID, hand washing is crucial in order to stop the spread of the virus. So we need a system that provides us all with safe drinking water in sufficient quantities, but we also need a system that treats that water. So please join the movement and sign the global call to action. Thank you.
Please join the movement. Thank you very much, Katarina. That is beautifully presented, very succinct and powerful. Today, we'll be looking at the relationship between the pandemic and water issues. So please, the relationship between the COVID-19 crisis reminds us of the importance of water. Wash your hands with soap. You need clean water. There is this strategic relationship between water and prevention of disease, diarrheal diseases, waterborne diseases, water-related diseases. Now the COVID-19 crisis depends on availability of clean water. I'm looking forward to this exciting day, exciting presentations, exciting interventions. We'll be looking at WASH responses to COVID-19. How do you adapt interventions to mitigate infections? We'll be looking at secure WASH, promote One Health, the importance of WASH for neglected tropical diseases. And then we look at towards inclusive green city sanitation for Lusaka, my homeland, achievements and the way forward. And then we say water operators partnerships, a game changer for technical assistance. And then we say transitioning from a humanitarian to a developmental approach in water supply and sanitation, the utility model. Oh, Uganda is going to give us that experience. Habari yako, how are you? Welcome. And then toilets of the Caribbean, meet the crew. Let's have these conversations today. Everyone, please participate, intervene, ask questions so that we can contribute to a secure future. Water counts, every drop counts. Thank you very much and see you in the other sessions.